So I had just gotten off of work, and there were kids out back from our next door neighbor. And the next door neighbor, he was having issues with some family members or some people that were living there who weren't supposed to be living there. And they got kicked out, and there was a whole issue that the police had to be called. They came. Prior to this, however, the children that they had were in the back and they were playing, and they weren't paying attention to the rules of both gates have to be closed at the same time. They were swinging the gates open, leaving them open, and just not caring about anything. Kids were unsupervised, but the adults were fighting and arguing. When it finally got to the point where everybody was leaving and they called the children in, I thought it was the right time to let the dogs out. At that time, we had only Harley, Alice, and Wishbone. A little backstory on Wishbone. He was at where Bethany first worked, Countryside Veterinary Center, and she fell in love with him because he strongly resembles Harley. Harley is our pit bull, and she fell in love with him. And the first time I met Wishbone, he did not like me because he didn't know me. She just, every day she came in and she just talked about Wishbone. And she wanted to put paperwork in and bring him home. I agreed. We'll try him out. We'll see how he does. And she brought him home, and she talked to me a little bit more about him. That when they first got him, he was brought in by police officers, and he had, at that time, they thought he had a cough, kennel cough, and he was on meds and he was being observed. It then turned out he had a collapsed trachea. So this poor guy, no telling how long he had been living on the street, surviving on his own. And they fixed him up, got him ready. When he was ready to come home, she brought him, and the first thing that happened was our cat Elsa gave him a head boot and welcomed him into the family. And it was right then that we figured that he was going to work out. We think he may have been abused. The injury that he had, plus just the way that he reacted to our attentions, he was nippy. He didn't want to be held too much. We couldn't cut his claws. He didn't know about us. Over time, he decided that we weren't trying to eat him, that we were only trying to take care of him, and he just became a wonderful dog. We did learn, however, that he did have certain skills, as in Houdini. He could pretty much get out of any harness that we put him in, to the point where Bethany was taking him to work one day, and he got out of his harness and took off running down the street. And I went running after him. The police tried helping us catch him, and I couldn't catch him, and I just gave up. And I was like, we'll go searching for him together. But Bethany had dropped her keys and she couldn't find them. The car was open, and I'm looking down the street, and I was like, okay, I can probably go catch him all on my own. She can just look for the keys, and I'm getting ready to go down the street, and then I remember I don't have my keys. Luckily, the door was still unlocked up out front. And I go back in and I'm getting ready to get my keys. And sure enough, guess who comes wandering back? All on his own. So neither of us had to spend the morning chasing him down, which was a good thing. He stayed home with me. Bethany took off for work. And that's kind of like our first introduction to his skill set. His next introduction to how great of an escape artist was, we had taken him and the other dogs out to the Indiana Dunes, and we were spending the day out there. And he slipped his harness again and took off. Luckily, he didn't have it completely off, and we were able to step on his leash and we were able to wrangle him in. If he had gotten away, there was no way we would have been able to catch him, and I don't know if he would have been able to find his way back to us. He is headstrong, funny. He thinks he is the life of the party, and the day that he took off, I decided to get everybody outside, go to the bathroom. They've been locked up all day since Bethany went to work, and the kids had left the gate open. And the kids had left the gate open. So I didn't know that. What I heard was, "Oh, there he goes." And the guys down the street saw this. And I look, and the gate is wide open. Alice starts to take off, and she goes down the yard, and I call her back in immediately. Harley knew better. Harley's a good girl. She knows not to go out. She knows that, we're not going to deal with her. We're not going to deal with her, running away. Alice is a little bit more headstrong. I called her back. She looked at me like, "What?" And she came right back in. I had to get Wishbone. He was gone. He was not waiting. He was not looking back to see if I was there. People on the street screaming, "There goes the dog! There goes the dog!" And I decided I can't put the two back into the house. I just put them back in the yard, let them stay there, and I took off after them and just hoped that no one was going to go out into the yard and mess with them. Not that there would be a problem with that. Harley's a super sweet dog. Alice barks. She thinks she's bigger than what she is. So I'm running and I see him down the street, and he makes a left onto the next street, and nobody's trying to help me. They see this dog and they're just getting out of the way. Now, I haven't run fully longer than a few seconds to catch a bus since high school. So here's this 48-year-old man out of overweight and not in good health, chasing down this dog who acts like he does this every day. And I'm screaming, "Boner, come back, come, Boner, Wishbone, come here, come here." And he's gone. He's not paying any attention to me. He's having the time of his life. He's not thinking anything about me. So, chasing him down, every time somebody sees him, they just get out of the way. And they don't try to slow him down. I'm thinking, if you just try to slow him down, I'll be able to catch up to him. They don't have to catch him. They don't have to touch him. Just slow him down so I can catch up to him. Everybody's just getting out of the way. These roughneck hood rats who just think that they're the toughest thing in the world see this little dog running towards them, and they look like the Three Stooges. They look like something out of Scooby-Doo. They cannot move fast enough out of the way of this small little dog. So all I see is his tail going, and he is just as happy as he could possibly be. He's having the time of his life. I, on the other hand, am dying. My legs feel like they're about to fall off. My lungs are on fire. He keeps crossing streets, and I'm thinking, God, please don't let there be a car. Please don't let there be a car. Well, there were cars. Not when he was approaching, but when I was approaching. And I knew that if I slowed down, there was no way I was going to be able to catch him. So I'm going and I'm going and I'm going. I see a car and I just like put my hand up and just shoot across the street. And he keeps doing this over and over. And he's not looking. And I just know my boy is about to get hit. I just know that I'm going to have to call Bethany and tell her that our baby boy is hurt and she needs to come home. Luckily, nobody hits him and nobody hits me. And I'm thinking, if he just slows down a little bit, I can catch him and everything will be fine. He turns on the speed and he gets further away. So he goes from being this big in my eyesight to being this big in my eyesight. We get down to like the last street. But before we get there, there's an alley. He decides to make a left into that alley, and my heart stops. I turn the alley, it's a dead-end alley. And I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you, and thank the designers of the city for putting this dead end here. So now he's hyped up. Now I have to calm him down. So I take my belt off, and I'm hoping that he doesn't think that I'm going to try to hit him with it. I'm like, come on, buddy. You're okay. It's okay. Just come to daddy. Come to daddy. And he's walking in circles, and he's terrified. He thinks that I'm mad at him. And to be honest, I was mad. I just wanted to get him home. I just wanted to get him in some kind of control situation that I can get him home. So I took my belt off. I didn't have a lead. I didn't have enough time to go get it. My heart is skipping. And it's like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, God, let me live long enough to get this dog home. Please let me just get him home. And I go to a knee and I tell him, just come here. Just come to daddy. Just come to daddy. It's okay. So tentatively, he comes over and he sniffs my hand. And I was like, we're good, buddy. We are good. It's okay. And I loop the belt around his neck to make a makeshift lead. And I get him and I pick him up and I start carrying him. So carrying him down the street, everybody's like, oh, you got him. You got him. Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I got him. Thanks. So I'm tired. My chest is killing me. My legs are killing me. Boner weighs about 30 pounds. I put him down. I can't carry him any further, but I still have the belt in my hand. And I see this guy get out of the car, and he gets up onto the sidewalk, and I'm like, this is not happening. This is not happening. I know what's about to happen. My owner sees him, rears up, and slips the lead. And takes back off in the direction he was going. And I'm thinking, please go in the alley. Please go in the alley. He does not go in the alley. Now, I almost had him home. Just had to make a right and would have had him in the house. He doesn't do that. So all these people are laughing at me. They're laughing at me like, oh, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. Look at him. He don't look good. Nobody's helping me. You know, they'd rather just laugh and watch me dying instead of actually trying to help me, except for the police. Now, what had happened next door had spilled out into the street. So 2 sets of police officers were called. The second set see me chasing Wishbone down the street and try to help me. The only ones who would help me. So they decide they're going to try and get in front of him, head him off, and try and chase him back in my direction. And they're like, what's his name? I said, Wishbone. And so they're going down the street calling his name over the microphone, and he's not stopping. They try to head him off. They're very, gentle. They're not trying to hit him. They're just trying to detour him. He skirts around them and keeps going in the same direction. So we have this huge, well, not huge, but this big industrial street where all the factories are, down from us, maybe like six blocks, four or 5 blocks. And he hits that street. Once it is wide open, it's like that tail flips and he knows he's free and he turns on the speed. I did not know that this little dog with those pudgy little legs could run that fast. What he was doing before is nothing. He takes off, and in like 10 seconds, he's just a tiny little blip. I felt like Wile E. Coyote when the Roadrunner turns on the speed. It's like he went beep beep and took off. And I just like, I've lost my dog. And my heart is killing me. My arm is throbbing with pain. I'm in trouble. And I knew I had to get back to the house. I couldn't catch him. I didn't even see him anymore. Luckily, he had his tags. And if he got caught by the city, there is a police station in our neck of the woods that has a 24-hour hold place for dogs brought in. And I could just only hope that if somebody caught him, they would take him there, or they would take him to the city. I can't run anymore. I walk back to our apartment. I get in the gate. Harley and Alice are still there. They're chilling. Nothing bad's happening. I was like, come on guys, Daddy's got to make a phone call. I call Bethany, and I call Bethany and I tell her, Wishbone's gone. And she's like, wait, what? Wishbone is gone. I sent her a message telling her to call me right now. We just got some groceries. I got some hot dogs out of the fridge. I was getting ready to cut them up. There were some treats that I was going to get, and I was going to wait for her to come home. And we were going to go and look for him. And she's like, get some treats, get some meat from the fridge. I'm like, I'm already on that. I'm cutting it up now, getting it ready. She's like, good. I'll be home in like 30 minutes. Unfortunately, it was probably just starting rush hour. So we know what that's like. 30 minutes can turn into an hour, and that's a good time. So I'm getting all this food ready. I'm thinking maybe I should get some dog food. And I go into the dog container, get one of our Tupperware, and putting food in there. And I'm mad. I'm so mad. I'm mad at Wishbone. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at these kids. I'm pissed off at our neighbor. I could tell you stories about this guy, but I wanted to wring his neck. You know, having kids out there just playing unsupervised, leaving gates open, not telling anybody, the rules, just letting everything just happen and not caring about it, So I hear him out there, and I go and tell him, your kids left the gate open and my dog got out. And he's like, oh no. I was like, yeah, my dog got out. Why were there kids back here with no adults? And why are the gates open? And he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry too. So I come back into the house and I'm cursing and I'm mad. Now I'm really mad. Now I'm not sorry. Now I'm not scared. I want this dog back in the house. We are going to have a talk. The thing about Wishbone is, he's really intelligent. He's very smart. We do not trust him because he knows how to open things. And we found that out before we had the kitchen gate, the food in the kitchen, he knows how to flip the food up. He knows how to open the cabinet drawers. He's not a dog who's content with just laying on the couch. He's very curious, and he knows how to work his curiosity. So I know that he understands I'm not happy. I get a call from Bethany, and she says, Fred just told me he's back. I'm like, excuse me? It's like, yeah, he came back. He came back on his own. Really? I'm not feeling any better. My legs feel like they're on fire. And my heart has not slowed down. But I knew that I only had one shot. And if I freaked him out, he was going to take off again. So I go out. And sure enough, there he is. I go out to the front, go around the side, and I put on my daddy voice. And I tell him, hey buddy, come here. It's okay. Come on. Come on. And very slowly he tips and he tips, and he tips. He doesn't trust me. But he comes, and I get on my knees, and I tell him, just come home, buddy. It's going to be okay. And he comes up to me, and I take the belt, and I do it again, but this time I pick him up, and I carry him into the house. The policemen that had tried catching him were at the house, at the apartment out front. And he gives me a thumbs up, and I was like, yeah, thank you. I get him into the apartment, and I put him down, and I told him, don't you ever do that again. And he got this look on his face of like he knew what he did and that he was sorry. But I was not having it. So I had a talk with him. And I told him, don't ever do that again. That's not cool. He would not look me in the face. So I was very angry for a while, but I love my boy. And I was so scared. Oh no, oh no, oh no, it's okay. You get caught up. It's okay. So I love my boy, and he's come such a long way, and he had learned to trust us. We don't know what he went through. So he's really gotten into our hearts, and I'm glad Bethany brought him home. But I told him, don't ever do that again. Don't ever make me run anywhere for any amount of time, even if I might need it. There't never been a doubt that he fits us. He's just as crazy as we are, and he does a really good job with taking care of the kittens in his own way, just like Harley does, and he's a good dog. I never knew that a dog could be that smart. You see it on TV, you see it in the movies, and of course they're going to talk about how smart an animal is. But when you see it firsthand, when you see the comprehension of what you're saying to them in their face, and they react to it, it's like it's a little kid. As old as he is, he's a little kid. And like I said before, I don't know what went into his personality to make him the way he is, with the biting that he would do. It kind of breaks my heart to think that my boy was probably put through some kind of hell. He's really good with listening to us now. He knows that he can trust us. That was the entire point of adopting him. It wasn't just owning another dog. It was teaching a dog that he could trust again. He's sleeping right now on the futon, and I love him. Just to let you know, the name that I nicknamed him Boner is in honor of an actor on an old television show, Growing Pains. I forget what the actor's full name is, but he is the son of a Star Trek actor. And this actor died a long time ago, and it just kind of fit. And so when I call him that, that's what I mean. I don't mean any derogatory name. Look it up, Growing Pains, Boner, and you'll see what I mean. So thanks, guys. I'll see you soon with some other stuff that I want to let you guys know about. Button says bye. Take care.